we were attacked on a surprise attack, and it was in Hawaii, obviously, and it was just a flight attack, and it destroyed all Pearl Harbor. It was bombed, and there was like the USS Arizona that sunk, and a lot of...
My grandpa actually predicted that the Japanese
You're
bombed, and my grandma told him,
Wait.
don't go outside telling people that, because what's going to happen, they're going to arrest you. And this is in 1939, or no, 1940. Can you believe that? He predicted
it. Hawaii and Pearl Harbor with kamikaze flights.
Let's talk about the war at sea.
Well, I know the biggest one was the Battle of Midway, where that was the time when they had kamikazes, and the kamikazes were Japanese pilots that literally flew a flying bomb, and they were extremely effective. They, at the beginning of the conflict, they were really effective until we figured out what was going on, could identify them, and then our anti-aircraft weapons took them out of the sky, or they would just miss their targets. But that was a last-ditch effort by the Japanese to withhold an already shrinking theater in the Pacific. That good?
Yeah, so what do you know what motivated these people to want to be a kamikaze fighter?
Well, they would die a hero for their country, and of course whatever religious beliefs that they would have would make them martyrs. And
for those who don't know, what is a martyr?
Well, someone that's dying for their beliefs.
And those beliefs were
whatever I would imagine the Japanese faith was, it was Buddhist or whatever.
So like you die 70 virgin women in heaven?
Well, no, and that's no, but they would be heroes.
Yeah.
They would die heroes, and then that would be considered an honorable death for their families.
So what would happen if they decided to back out?
I don't think there was an option. I think once you were there, you were there.
Yeah.
And honor was a big thing back then, with Japanese people, and so especially with the pilots. But we were way superior in air and sea power by then, and they were already in trouble. They were already losing the war, and so that was what they felt that they needed to do.
Were there any special situations to the plane where they strapped down to their seat?
Not to my knowledge, they weren't strapped down. They were volunteers.
Okay. So, do you know anything about how their planes only had enough amount of oil to make it there?
Yeah, it was a one-way trip, so they didn't need to worry about coming back.
It's me, my favorite teacher, Coach Button, the baby boomer.
That's right. And don't you forget it. It was the big one, your WW2, the one we wanted to win, we went in, and we won. Your WW2, your big one.
How do you feel about Pearl Harbor?
Oh, I think it was a world-changing event. It was the beginning of the last real, true, big world war on the ground.
Yeah.
Probably also, as you look back and look at the wars that we've had in the last 20, 30 years, World War II was one that was actually our troops protecting our shores because they were at the doorstep. So it was quite a different deal, and it involved a lot of countries, and Pearl Harbor started it for us.
All right, well, thank you for your perspective.
No, thank you for being such a great kid.
I'll try.
And a leader of men.
Baby boomer number 2, Mr. Archera. How does that make you feel?
Older, but wiser.
Do you have any certain aspects on World War II?
World War II was before I was born, but my father and grandfather both fought in it, and they were both overseas, And when they came back, they also fought in the North Korean War, which was called a police service.
A police thing.
And so I have a few memoirs from all of those things that my dad brought back, and they're in a safe. And that I learned a little history that I didn't know about, what those wars were about during the time and so forth.
Hey, here we are at our own auto shop. Mr. Ham. He is
Are you going to shut up? I'm a baby boomer.
What's a baby boomer
I
for
was
people?
born in 1954 after the war.
Oh, okay, so
The
that means
Great War to end all wars for the second time.
your parents came home and your dad got it in.
There we go.
Yo, Kyle.
What's up, buddy?
How you feel about Pearl Harbor, man?
Well, Pearl Harbor was a very depressing day in life. I feel like we lost a lot of good men out there, and you know, it's just I don't know too much about.
How you feel about Pearl Harbor, man?
How does a Filipino man whose Filipino parents experienced Pearl Harbor? I feel that the attack on Pearl Harbor was an unfortunate event, but as for the American retaliation on the Japanese islands and Japan as a country, it was very smart because the Japanese had taken over.
It was in Hawaii, and I visited there.
That's it.
Yes.
Do you know anything like specific, like a kamikaze? What is that to you?
I don't know.
Nothing at all.
I know that I went there, and like the boat is still like underwater, and like the oil leaks out still, and it represents like the people dying, how the memories will forever go on.
Okay. Well, thank you for that insightful information. Yeah, thanks.